Can you see that?
All right. So for folks that are just listening, he's holding up an archery target with the circles, you know, like on the cartoon Robin Hood.
So this is a Vegas.
We got yellow in the center. This is a Vegas target. Yellow in the center, red, blue, black, white. Okay.
Yeah. So now Bodie would shoot one. Now this is what a barebow archer would shoot at, a single spot. The one Bodie shoots at, there's one in the center and there's one on each. Because if they just shot at this little X all the time, they would just blow their arrows apart. Because this X ring, right, this ring right here that covers this, that's about the size of a penny. And then you have the 10 ring here, the 9 ring, 8, 7, 6, all the way out. So this inner ring right here, Bodie's arrow cut that line 78 times in a row from 20 yards. So that's 78 shots of hitting a penny every single time. And the only way you can do that is by allowing that pin to move so fast. I'll get this target back out here. We have the pin moving so fast that you can't comprehend it. You don't know if it's in the 9 or the 10 or whatever. It's just moving in the yellow, and he concentrates on the release movement, and it breaks as a surprise. And based on the science of visual proprioception, it's always returning back to the X. Whereas,
what do you mean by visual proprioception?
So visual proprioception is the feedback system that our mind uses. So no matter what pattern of movement you have, it's always coming back to the center. Same thing you would see if you drive. Like when you're driving, you get visual feedback that your vehicle is veering slightly to the left. And when you pick up that visual feedback, you do an automatic corrective movement on the steering wheel. And when you get the right visual feedback that your vehicle's back in the middle of the lane, then that corrective movement automatically stops. That's the science of visual proprioception. It's always trying to put your vehicle back in the middle of the lane. So same thing in aiming. If you make your bow so heavy that your pin is doing this, where it's super slow, the rate of return is too slow. So the shot might break when the pin's out here. And then it's going to hit out here in the 9 ring. Well, that ain't going to win you anything, right, in Bodie's world. So these guys will super weight their bows so that their pin appears to look like it does this. It stays in the X, but then they catch it. And as soon as they go open loop on the trigger, meaning too fast for them to stop, too fast to gain feedback in it, the science is there will be pre-ignition movements that are linked to that motor program. So they might hit an X, but they might also be just out in the 10. And if you're out in the 10, it's not going to win you the tournament. You got to hit X's. So that's the two different dynamics that you're working for. But those guys have that, right? They got that career that goes and does this, whereas Bodie's level is just, it's way at the top, and they're just not quite, even on a good day, they're just not quite catching it. So I get people to reverse the science. Fast aiming, slow trigger movement. So it breaks as a surprise, and then it doesn't matter where it's at. It doesn't matter if it's out in the 9 ring, because it's always coming right back to the center, faster than you can comprehend. So that's how we use the science of visual proprioception to hit more X's.
And you do that in the class, in your seminars, where you'll have people point at a place on the wall, and you can actually see, because I didn't know this, and I don't think most people know this, but when you're pointing at something, your finger is moving, but it always comes back to the center.
Always comes back to the center. When you shake one way, you instantly shake the other. So use that. You don't have any control over your aim. You're not consciously controlling that. Your subconscious is controlling that through your visual feedback system. So just put your pin on there, get your instinctive gap, whatever your aiming system is, get your aiming done, and then just watch it to keep it. Enjoy the show, because you have no control over it anyways.